Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 7 minutes past the hour on this 20th day of March, on this Turn Up Thursday, turn down for what? Hashtag truth be told. Yours truly, Joe Dupree in the building from 100 BLK, the Black Station, but I ain't by myself. I roll deep in this thing, y'all. Listen, you know her, and I forgot to do this, Alethea, and I got to do this properly. So let me do it the way it needs to be. You know her from the J Hud Show. She's got her own podcast called In the Passenger Seat. You know her. I know her. She in the building, always pimping positivity. It is none other than Sister Alethea Crimmins herself. Hey, Alethea.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Listen, I am good. I am great. I will be great in their face because I said so. I will have a good day on purpose because I said so.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, it must be nothing but the ladies. I don't know where ooh-wah Kitty is, but guess what? I can tell you about that Jersey girl over there in Brick City doing her thing. She's the life strategist, the art therapist, the speaker, the author. She is the spiritual conscious of hashtag truth be told. My sister, like no other, Sister Jax is in the building. Hey, Sister Jax, good morning.
What's up, family? Look at that beautiful smile, Alethea. I love it. What's up, Joe? Look, y'all, listen. I am so invigorated. Y'all don't even understand. You know how I dig back into my history, to our history, our culture, our ethnicity. And listen, y'all know I wasn't there yesterday. You guys did a phenomenal job from what I could see and hear. I'm so proud of you guys. Y'all were killing it yesterday. I can't wait to watch the whole show again. So so I was traveling yesterday. And I'm always on this journey of, like Joe said, like spiritual consciousness and trying to find out what really went down, why they really trying to stop our blackness and our greatness. So I came across a bookstore. Well, I actually looked for a bookstore. And I went into the bookstore, y'all. There were books everywhere, even dating back to the 1800s and before that, right? So I got a huge box of books, y'all. So look, this one book in particular, I couldn't even wait till the show really got started because I'm still just like on a high. So this is one of the books that I got, right? You see how old it is. From the 1800s. And it's about our people, about our Native American people, right? And it puts everything so much more into perspective. So this was written by like a missionary that had gone over to try to observe our people, right? To see who they are, what they do, what are their customs, what are their traditions. And
Okay.
guess what, y'all? It aligns exactly with scripture,
That's why
right?
I'm trying
And
to help.
so he was so blown away. Like, how do these people know this, right? And then when he breaks it down, when it says like, who are these people? Who are they? It said they are the descendants of the Jews,
Mm,
right? So then I
mm.
did further research with this particular tribe. And when I did research on this particular tribe, I read this whole book last night, y'all. I was on the road for 10 hours yesterday and came back and I read the whole book last night before I went to bed. Then I got online and I Googled to do further research. So when I typed in some of these tribes, it said that these tribes were the Semites. They were the Semitic people,
Mm.
right? The Semitic people. Now, do y'all understand this is why they want to ban books? This is why right now they're trying to do a digital burning of our history and of our records, because it is showing that those people, and it said they didn't even know where they actually came from. Why? Because we got brought over here by the transatlantic and sub-Saharan slave trade, right? In many cases. So they want to burn the books. Now they're doing a digital burning like they did the physical burning. But guess what,
Mm.
y'all? Look for bookstores. What up, my brother Sean?
What up?
Get
What up?
out
What
there.
up? What
Like,
it is?
look.
What it is? Peace,
Yes,
peace.
yes. Y'all got to get books. Like, check this book out, y'all. Like, this book, I mean, from the 1800s. Like, look at this stuff. I mean, it's unbelievable. So today, y'all, I'm rocking my Native American, fine jewels with the,
Come on
fringes
now.
with the ribbon of blue on it, y'all, to
Come on
represent my
now.
people. So they know who we are, but they're afraid that we will know who we are. So they ban it. So I'm telling you, wherever you live, go into that community and find some bookstores, because guess what? Our oppressors were some of the best record keepers. They have records in their bookstores of stuff that we just will walk right past and never look into. So we need to get it, y'all, before those bookstores are burnt down again. Go ahead, Sean. I know you
So
got something to say,
so
Sean,
so
because I'm
since
like
I
on
just
10.
introduced Jax and I was getting ready to introduce Brother Fatim. So hold on, Brother Fatim. I'm getting ready to introduce you.
He could
But
wait.
before I do, I got to hit my man because he's a part of the Shine P experience. He's also big time Instagram podcaster talking about, hey, bro, tell them about your podcast, tell them about the books you review.
Okay.
And look, it is my brother who keeps us on the straight and narrow because reading is fundamental. My
Fundamental.
man, Sean P is in the building. Sean P, good morning to you, brother. How you doing?
What it is? What it is? Peace, family. Peace to the audience, man. Peace and blessings. I wanted to piggyback on something my sister just said when I walked in the building. Right? Let me tell people something. I love going to used bookstores. You know why, Joe?
Talk
Because
to me.
most times at a used bookstore, these other people, they have all of our books at their house, stacked up, all
Yes.
these old books. And guess what? Whenever they die, they
Mhm.
choose to box them all up and just
Come
put
on.
them in the
Yep.
used bookstore. So
Come
I
on.
go in
Exactly.
there and get all these old ancient books about Africa and about our people. Most times those books come from those other folks' house.
That's right. That's
That
right.
come from their personal libraries.
Yep.
Not our
Yep.
libraries. That come from their libraries. They know more about us than we do.
Yes,
Mhm.
they do.
So
Sean, like,
whenever
look,
she
Sean,
said that,
check
I
out.
had to say something.
Yes, check out these old, like ancient books. Like, y'all
I
don't
love
understand.
those.
Yes,
I love those.
I mean,
So
even this one. Some of these
I
books
got
are
that.
even from
I
the
got
from
that.
the 70s. You
I got
do.
that.
Look,
I got
Sean, you
that.
got this one.
I'm on it.
Look. I even got
We
this one.
we
No, ma'am.
going
No,
we
ma'am.
going down book
No, ma'am.
memory
Oh my
lane.
God.
So look, before we even get into all this show today, because it's Turn Up Thursday, Turn Down for What. Listen, family, we're broadcasting
Yeah.
live on YouTube, on
Yeah.
Facebook, and on Instagram. Let me introduce him. Ooh wah kitty. Tell me about that boy from New York City. My brother from another mother. You know him from 107.5 WBLS in New York City and keeping it real with Reverend Al Sharpton, where he is the executive producer and the open lines on lines. Listen, none other than my brother. Brother Fatim is in the building. Good morning, Brother Fatim. How
Good
you
morning, good
doing this
morning,
morning?
everybody. Good morning. It's a great way to come into the show with that kind of energy and enthusiasm, as Sister Jax is showing you about the enthusiasm of the books.
Yes.
It's not that it warms my heart, so I'm not jumping up and down. It warms my heart because y'all know, you've seen when I'm in my New York place, y'all see my bookshelves, and I
Oh
got
yeah.
a bins of books. Here I got, like Sister Jax said, Celestial Prophecy the other day, and I
Celestine
read that
prophecy.
Celestine Prophecy. I read that book. I use the workbook. There's another one that goes with that book. And then the books are dealing with Mesopotamia. All these books, and what Sister Jackson is right. First, she corrected herself because she said that what they want to do is this book burning. No, they are doing that.
Yeah.
They're doing that. They're scrubbing so much stuff of our history right now. That's why I'm saying we have no answers to this. I just read yesterday, they just restored something dealing with Jackie Robinson, the letter. They just restored it back because they scrubbed it because of DEI. So what Sister Jackson's saying and what Sean knows, and I'm not saying everybody else don't know.
And Megan Evers, same thing.
They scrubbing everything. And what happens in these books that like Jacks have that are written is sometimes you can make updates and not say corrections, but add material. But a lot of this books are raw material. That's why when they came out and said, should we take the word nigger out of Huckleberry Finn? I said, hell no. Don't do that, because it shows you what they were doing and what they were saying and how people were looked at during that time. If you start authoring that, there you go. Dick Gregory. That's Dick Gregory. I didn't even have to look. Before I met Dick Gregory, that's when he wrote that book when he was a comedian. You see what I'm saying? And this is what I'm saying. Soon as Jax held that up, I knew this. And this is what we need to know. Do you understand who Dick Gregory was? Before that, he was a comedian, but he was a conscious comedian. You understand? And that's why when you look at certain comedians today, they drop a lot of truth there. This brother, Dick Gregory, which we all knew, I got a chance to personally know Dick Gregory. It's times that I would be in Maryland. And sometimes he'll be walking near my hotel. And I asked him to have a seat. And we would just sit outside my hotel and just talk. I was like, where are you going, Dick Gregory? Why are you downtown? Yes, sir.
How was he talking to him one-on-one? Because I know on the interviews, watching him talk interviews, he be tearing interviewers up. He be chewing up interviewers and spitting them out.
So what he does on one-on-one, depend on your level of consciousness, he will drop jewels. For instance, I was with Tavis. I was with my open line crew of the guys, Bob Slade and Bob Pickett. I was with Reverend Sharpton was there. I'm on the phone with Michael Jackson, Mr. Jackson, Michael Jackson's father. Cornel West and Tavis Smiley walks in with Dick Gregory. I said to Mr. Jackson, oh, hold on, because I was trying to get him on the show. I said, oh, Dick Gregory, and then walked in. He said, put Dick on the phone. Under my phone. Next thing I know, they started talking about conspiracies that possibly a thing about killing Michael Jackson and all this. Depend on your level of where you're at. That's where Dick Gregory talked. He talked about nutrition. He had the whole thing with the Bohemian diet at one time. He talks consciousness, depending on your level, but he's always dropping jewels, and he's always trying to drop knowledge, like what Sister Jackson's saying in these books, that people don't know, that makes you a better person. And that's what he's trying to do. And he was trying to instill this and say through the fight during the civil rights movement, because he was part of the civil rights movement.
That's right.
They gave money. They performed in front of crowds when they were doing protests or whatever. You understand? He was very close with Dr. King. So he would talk about these kind of things that make us better, how they hold us back. And he talked more about things that people call conspiracies, but they wasn't conspiracies against Black people. And where we at today, he talked about that yesterday.
That's
right. And you know what? He had this quote, right? He said, I get paid for what I do on that stage, but I would die for what I do in these streets. Talking about this protest.
Hold up now. Hold up.
That's right. And Dr. Sebi, I sat with Dr. Sebi, y'all. I sat with like I told you, I sat with Dr. Sebi. I took my late wife to Dr. Sebi dealing with her sickle cell. And he was another one. And when I rolled with Dr. Sebi, I was rolling with another brother with Dr. Valentine, Queen of Four. These are the other legends that I'm sitting with that were dealing with health holistic. This is what I'm telling you. So when HIV and all this came out, and Dr. Sebi was like, I got a cure for AIDS, and I got this, I got that. They ran his ass out of here. Yeah. So this is but see, when you get a chance to sit with the giants is one thing, but what Jackson's saying is that if you don't get the chance to sit with the giants, You can
better read with them.
you can read.
Yes.
You better read with them.
Especially those
Yeah.
folks that wrote the truth, and people
You
were
better
trying to
read with them.
expose the truth. Today they're trying to hide the truth. So that's why
Exactly.
those books are so important.
And Brother
That's right. And you know,
Fatigue.
fatigue.
So,
No, I was
family,
gonna
hold
say,
on. Hold on. It's 20 minutes. 20 minutes after the hour. Once again, welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told. We're going to continue to get into the conversation. Maybe you, if you're in the chat or if you're looking, want to be a part of the conversation, you can. Phone lines are wide open. 225-250-8770. 225-250-8770. Yours truly, Joe Dupree, in the building with Alethea Crimmins, Sister Jax, Brother Fatim. Sean P is in the building. And it ain't going to stop today. It's Turn Up Thursday. Turn down for what? Now, you might see me in the Southern University gear. You might say, isn't it March Madness? Indeed, it is. And let me speak about the HBCU that's doing things, big things, because Alabama State, they won. Yeah, they did. The Hornets did their thing. Swacker's in the building. Now, the fiance of the Alabama State player, fiance who plays for the Southern University on the women's side, they did their thing last night too, and they won. So you got Alabama State going to the big dance. You got the Southern University going to the big dance. Listen, y'all, it's about to go down. The madness is on in March, and not only is it March Madness in basketball, it must be March Madness at the Department of Education, because Trump said he's shutting it down today. And we're talking about reading books, getting knowledge, getting information. I need to know where my teacher's at. I need to know where my people at out there who are concerned about the educational system and about the well-being of not only their children, but other children. Because understand this, if they're dumb and your children smart, but they are the ones who are running the business, no matter how smart your child is, you still got a dummy running the business while your smart child is nothing but an employee. Somebody better talk to me. We need to get to some conversation about, wait a minute, you gonna shut down the Department of Education? Hold on. I got degrees hanging on the walls that if I hadn't got funding, grants, or scholarships, and they trying to cut all that, I would not even have my degree. To be exact, the rank I received in the military, I wouldn't have received it if it hadn't been a push for African-American men to get promoted to higher officers' ranks. Because Brother Sean can testify, he was in the Navy. There was a time all you saw us doing was working in the kitchen, working on the front line. You didn't see none of us with officers' uniforms on. You wasn't. We were saluting. We weren't get saluted.
I tell
So
you what,
talk
Joe.
to me, family. Sister
In my
Alethea, what's going on with
time
this
in the
department?
military, I barely around saw anybody black in a higher ranking position. And unfortunately, whenever I did see somebody black in that position, they wasn't really like us.
Come on.
They was the other kind.
Right. They
They
weren't
was
dark.
other kind.
They look more like Jax, and I love Jax, but that's how they look. Sister Alethea, what's going on with this Department of Education? What's
But
going on?
notice what community this will be affecting. Notice the community that this will shut down and take funding from Head Start. What community is that directly affecting? They will take away or give funding from financial aid. What community is that directly affecting? Like, we need to wake up and see what is going on. What community is that directly affecting? It is directly affecting us and people like us.
That's right.
That is who it is directly affecting. It's not geared towards people that don't have to go to Head Start. It's not geared towards people that can pay tens and thousands of dollars without seeking scholarships or financial aid. It's geared towards everyday people like us. Because what they're saying is, we don't want you to be better. Because when they know the potential that we have, please listen and understand. The reason that this is going on is because they know who we are. They know whose we are. They know the potential that we have. And they do not want us, because if they knew that if we tap into a tenth of what we had, we would be unstoppable. And they don't want us to be that. They don't want us to be doctors and lawyers. And they don't want that. They said enough is enough.
That's right. And that's right, sis. And you know what? They know who we are and whose we are, right? but we don't know who we are. Right.
That
And
part.
that's part of why they tried to stop us from reading,
So,
because they know their records were pristine. Right. And within those pristine records, it tells us exactly who we are as a people. And that we are Semites, and that we are this, and that we are
yeah,
that.
yeah,
But they don't want us to know that. Now they're making laws to say if any of us on this panel say that we're Shemitic, that we can go to jail, or have some legal repercussions by identifying exactly who we are. Look what they did to Kyrie Irving. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Look what they did to Kyrie.
yeah,
Tried to shut him down and go to the
yeah,
Jewish, whatever the hell it was, and make
yeah,
him apologize because he said, I know my heritage. I know who I am. And now, like I said, it's cross-referenced in this book from the damn 1800s. And Fatine, like you were saying with Queen Afua and Dr. Sabi, this book has this missionaries recount on how these natives, even in death, how they help to prepare the bodies, or how
yeah,
if somebody was sick. It's This book is telling you if you have a tumor, if you have a headache, how to
yeah,
handle it, what herb. It's telling you what herbs you put together to heal your body. This is in this book, and this is just one of them. There were thousands of them in this bookstore,
yeah,
and I think for this
yeah,
one particular book, I may have spent what is this? I spent $6. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? $6 on this
yeah.
book. And there are thousands, at like hundreds of them, I would say, at least in this one particular store. The store is
But let
huge.
me tell you something. There, and I know that people are gonna get upset and they might get
Mhm.
in an uproar, but Joe said I can say what I want to say. So
Go
guess
with it,
what?
That's
sister.
right.
Speak
Go
on it.
with it.
I'm
Speak
gonna
Go
on
with
it.
say
it,
Thursday,
it.
sister.
sis.
Go with it.
The saying is, if you want to keep something from a black person,
Put it in the book.
Mm,
in
Yep.
a
mm.
book. So everything that you just said, the issue is we're not going out there to try to find out this
Hmm.
information for ourselves.
Be back.
We live in a day and age where we expect other people to tell us, where we expect
Yeah.
other people to show us, where we want people to give it to us instead of us going out and getting that knowledge for ourselves, because that would make us better if we knew it for ourselves instead of waiting for somebody who really don't know it all, who
That's
just
right.
wants you to know what they want you to know, but they won't tell you everything.
You're right. And you know what? I just want to put it out there for our viewers and everybody. Jacks don't like to read. I do not like to read, but I have a thirst for knowledge. So literally when
Yes.
I was asleep last night, I couldn't wait to wake up in the morning to get off this doggone show and go back and read. I have 1,000 other things I need to be doing. But when you start to develop that thirst for knowledge, that's when that passion and reading comes about. And that's why it's so important. Like you guys talking about Department of Ed, we need to find a way to go back and homeschool our kids. They are in school learning
Yes.
all this damn dumb ass stuff that they really don't need, most of it, right?
That
But
part.
when you look at our forefathers, they didn't have a college degree. They didn't go to school, but they sure as hell knew how to how to cure, whether it be HIV. Like they knew how to cure any ailments and all that kind of stuff from back then, right? They were so full of wisdom and knowledge and a connection with the Most High. This book even talked about how do these people even understand connecting with the Most High and following the moon and going along with the lunar cycles and having feast days
That's all
and
the stuff.
and yes, and
That's
it's
the
saying how like they never even read the Bible. These people don't even speak the language, so they never even read the Bible, but their traditions were still in lockstep with the Bible, and they were blown away. Like, how do these people know it? It said they are the descendants of Adam, and I'm like,
So
yo, this is
so
blowing my
so
mind.
let's because Jax is really
Oh,
remember
it's
what I
him.
always talk about. What I've said is you're motivated and inspired, and that's what we have to do with our folks.
yes.
Um, don't I'm sitting here, so many things are going through my head because I was thinking about this last minute, I was thinking about calling Randy Weingarten, and I know Randy Weingarten is now part of the United States Federal Teachers. She used to be no, American. She was UFT, and when she was dealing with New York, now she's American Federation of Teachers, and of course, she's a white woman. And she worked with my cousin at Clara Barton High School in Brooklyn. She became the head of this union, and she went on to do big things. And you see her out there speaking against these cuts here that they're doing at the Department of Education. And this is a white woman who I happened to mention. My daughter was part of this program that she brought in for high schools, and it was called YECA, and it dealt with York College in Brooklyn, pretty much like a black college. And in the public school system in New York, Randy Weingarten said, Fatim, I brought that here. I brought that here. You have good folks that are all colors, black and white, that understand the dynamics. Just like Sister Jax just said, of those books. In that bookstore, there are books about black people that probably was written by white folks. You know why? Because white folks could get away with writing things like that.
Yeah.
So we need those kind of allies. I just didn't want to call her right now, because if we're talking about this Department of Education now, then let's look at this as Jax was looking at it. When we take this away from our children, when you take this away, then where's the motivation? Where do they see themselves? Remember, when you show the truth to people, what happens? If you have lied to people and said that this group of people, black people, are this, that, and the other, and you continue to keep your foot on their neck, they don't have no dream. They don't have no push. While the other folks that benefit from that, white folks, they tend to live up in glory. But then when you put out the truth, and then when we come up and say, wait a minute, I'm from royalty, I'm this, I'm not that, then they get uncomfortable.
That's right.
So when they get uncomfortable, we still get motivated. They have to turn this around, y'all. They are turning this around. Not that wasn't, Joe brought this up. And Joe stepped on a heavy conversation we was having, though, but this is heavy too. But when you look at the bureaucracy at the Department of Education, yeah, some of that needs to be cut, but you don't blow it up. The Board of Education in New York City, you needed to cut the bureaucracy. They didn't blow it up. It became the Department of Education. They had to refocus. They had to restream. And yeah, there was a lot of bloating and a lot of money that was mismanaged. But you don't blow up something. But you got to understand the reason why they're blowing up this. They are going at, that's why we said yesterday, I said it yesterday, Jax, they are defying judges now. So since they're defying judges, they're defying the rule of law of this land. They are setting their own precedent. And when they set their own precedent, when they start to do this, there won't be no checks and balances in place to check this. Then when you stand up to do something, they'll be able to shut you down and throw you in jail like Stephen Biko and Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
And you got Elon Musk that is part of South Africa.
Yeah.
And that mentality where a lot of black folks right now is going to and fro, don't think that crap can't happen. And they're laying the foundation for it right and before your eyes. And you're going around like you're blinded. Like you got blinded, like deer in the headlights.
So family,
you know what,
family, hold on, Sister Jackson, I'm gonna come to you. We have to pay attention. That's why we came back for these 5 days. Sister Jackson, I got to call you after this. The Most High spoke to me last night. We got to have me and you got to have a long conversation. But let me say this, family. We got to pay attention. Yesterday, Brother Aton said something that I think went over a lot of folks' heads. People who are fascists love confusion and anarchy. So understanding this, the shutting down of all these departments and the eroding of trust in these institutions that we had a lot of trust in begins to give people anxiety and starts anarchy. Now, hopefully later on in this show, we're going to have 6 folks in here. Hopefully Brother Chris McNeil comes in, Morant McNeil comes in, because I know there's a mental health component to this that a lot of folks out here right now, because look, I got friends. I've got a very good friend. She's Caucasian. She has 2 beautiful children. One of her daughters is at Spelman. I think she's a sophomore at Spelman. Her son just got accepted into MIT. He graduating from high school. She worked for the Department of the Interior doing something very important for this United States of America. But because of Doge, she has no job no more. Now, mind you, she's helping pay for college tuition. MIT ain't cheap. Plus, she probably has a mortgage. She is a single mom. She is a single mom. And don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure the father who's in the military is helping with the children. But still, she's single mom, living by herself, dealing with whatever it is. And understand this. Let me say this to people. It's hard to replace a $40,000 a year paying job when you ain't got no type of support. That means no temporary unemployment, no nothing. It's hard to replace that. Imagine people who are making six figures, 100 plus thousand, 200. Just imagine if you're making $200,000 a year and you lose that, how hard it is to replace that income you just lost. And it doesn't get replaced overnight in most cases, because you got to understand this hit a lot of people like a ton of bricks. It's hit a lot of people like a ton. They didn't see this coming. And now just think about the dismantling of the Department of Education. It's bigger than this. It's bigger. It's funding to HBCUs. It's funding to pre-K and kindergarten. It's funding to help the least of us. They're trying to turn this all into a voucher program. And if they do, it will be just like, hold on, we have a system here, a TOPS program. The
Yes.
TOPS program here in the state of Louisiana does not have an income cap. So a program that was designed to help poor students who were very intelligent get into college winded up helping rich, influenced students who didn't need any help in college because of their good grades to all of a sudden also partake in the same thing that was designed for the poor students that could not afford to go to the LSUs, to the Louisiana Techs, to the more PWIs in our state that has high tuition, which is maybe anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000 a year. Understand and pay attention. You have to understand that this is an economic battle. And as Dr. King says, while we're here, people are here trying to make it a black and white thing, no, it's about the haves and the have-nots. This is seriously a social, economical battle. Because let me tell you something, Trump good with folk that got money, and he don't care what color you are. I promise you that. Why do you think he dealt with Kanye? If Kanye was Sean P., Joe Dupree, Brother Fatim, Sister Jackson, Alethea, he would not even have a word with Kanye West. Kanye West got money, and his money got him an audience with Donald Trump. Understand, if you got money, you can get an audience with folks who literally don't like the melanin in your skin, but they love the color of your pocket. Keep that in mind, family.
So you know what, Joe? But to even expound on that, so you say it's not it's a socioeconomic thing, but then you say it's the color of your skin, right? Because it really is. It is both, right?
Right.
Because
right.
you could take the most affluent, rich, wealthy black guy, and they could be in the same circles playing golf with the other ones, right? But they still talk to and treat it like,
oh, you an NFL for life. You're behind closed doors when you ain't there. You an NFL. Listen,
absolutely.
Herschel Walker,
so it's much more than just that.
Hold it. Herschel Walker, who was a poster child for the conservative Republican Party, and I wish some of my black Republicans or conservatives would get in here, because I love how people like Eddie Barnett and Douglas Gidley try to separate. We're not really Republican. We're just conservative. No, you're conservative and Republican, because I'm conservative, but I'm not Republican. Okay, so let's get some things right here. And like I said, I don't dance like I used to. I call directly how they are. So I wish they would either get in the chat or call in and explain to us certain things, because understand this, Herschel Walker, who all Herschel Walker was a good football player. I hate to say this, Herschel Walker, in my humble opinion, is not the sharpest tool in the shed. Now, I'm not saying he's not intelligent. I'm not saying he's not a good man. I'm just saying he's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Dumbass.
Hold it.
Dumbass.
Go ahead.
He's a dumbass.
And the reason I say, the reason I say that is, once again, in my now reading a great deal, I appreciate what Malcolm said in one of his writings. Malcolm said, we got to learn how to, behind closed doors, get our folk right.
Thank you,
in public, call it what it is. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
He's a dumbass. He's a dumbass. Anybody that go ahead, Jack, you haven't spoken. Go.
I was gonna say, you know what's so crazy? Like, you know, even with this whole situation, scripture goes back and tell us, you know, you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. So when we change our mindset and say, you know what, all of this stuff is going on, they trying to be evil, but we always have to know still who's behind it all. God's allowing it all to manifest, right? And then when you call him a dumbass, and when you really think about the whole scheme of, you know, people's, you know, mindset, their mentality, mental health, and all of that stuff, I guarantee you, everybody on this panel has been, the more we share our knowledge, the more people come to you, Joe. Who the hell he think he is? Fatine,
Right.
who that nigga think
Oh,
he
yeah.
is? Who Alethea
yeah.
thinks she is? Who
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
So that's how our people are. So it's
Oh,
so
But Clarence, you
unfortunate.
know everything. You think you know everything.
Yeah.
Hold
Yeah, well,
on.
let me get
Hold
it.
on.
Let me get that.
I
I
just
let
want to
Jax
say
go.
one
I
thing.
want to say this. I want to say this real quick. The reason why I call Herschel Walker a dumbass,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna tell y'all this, and I look at y'all dead serious, and I know I don't have to challenge y'all, but I'll challenge anybody. I go harder at our own people, that our freckles that are closer together,
Yeah.
when they do what they do. For instance, I'm friend with the mayor of New York City. And when I say we, my co-host, Jennifer Jones Austin Esquire, on Open Line on the radio show, helped bring in a charter that helped Black Americans here. And it was voted on and approved. And you get a Black man that's the mayor that is stalling to implement this. I go after your ass.
Yeah.
I go after Herschel Walker. I
Okay.
go after those token Blacks because they should understand. Because at one time, they had a foot on their neck. But once they have made it, they don't look back and they look forward and they look with those other folks that are not like us to say, look, boss, I'm with you. I'm not like them.
Yeah.
So that's why I call him a dumbass.
Yeah,
And I go
agree.
hard at our people that turn their backs on us. I don't have no room for them. I swear. And when Minister Farrakhan mentioned this, and when and follow my words, because they'll twist my words. When somebody said that they should bring death to you, but not a physical death.
Mhm.
But if you are a business person and this, that, and other, and you sell out, then you don't support that business. You don't support that person.
Yeah.
You bring a certain type of death to them that they feel that pain because they have turned their back on people. They have turned their back on people. And that's why I feel good, because I have white friends, I have Black friends, I have a multi-ethnic group of friends. But one thing I like about my friends is that they don't want me not to speak the truth. Because if my friends don't want me to speak the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it makes them, then they're not my friends.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You want me to stand with you to talk about the Holocaust? I can sit there and talk about the Holocaust with you in Schindler's List, but your ass better be able to talk about the Black Holocaust and be able to talk about roots and everything else.
The Bahapa.
Damn right. And that's what I'm saying. It becomes mutual. It becomes
Absolutely.
mutual. That's what respect is. What happened here?
Uh-oh.
What's going on? Joe flipping buttons again?
Oh no.
You hit switches,
I
Joe.
don't know what's going on,
It
Joe.
never
what's
fails.
happening?
He hitting
But
buttons
You
see,
again.
just said something too good. You just said something too good.
That's right. That's
Right,
right.
right.
The
When you start talking
man
good,
You said,
came and
when,
told,
when,
hey,
gave
when
me
you
a
you ever
phone
talk on the
call.
phone? The phone
Gave
just
me
dropped.
a damn
talking
phone
good,
call.
You ever
when
talk on
you
the phone?
start
The phone
talking
just dropped.
good,
You like, hell. I just
they
said
like,
something too good.
cut him off, cut him
That's
off,
right.
cut him
That's
off, cut him off.
Cut my
Family.
ass off.
Got
Cut
it.
my
He
ass
doing
off, huh?
too
Hey.
much. He doing
I
too
almost
much.
had to make a phone call to my people at the NSA and say, okay, what we say that y'all all of a sudden picked up on y'all radar.
Yeah.
My everything shut down on my. I was like, wait a minute,
Wow,
what's
see?
going on? And then I come back and start seeing somebody else working the controls. I'm like, hold
Shut
on,
up.
let me make a phone call
See?
because I know people.
When,
That's how they do. We
when,
know you watching.
when you speaking the real,
They
when
gonna
you
pull that
speak,
plug. They pull that
they
thing.
will
So-
always
so-
try to cut you off because they don't want you to speak that knowledge. They don't want you to drop that real.
That's right.
And brother was speaking that real, so they said, cut him off.
Keep talking, brother
Yep.
Patine. Keep talking. Hold it. No, keep talking. Don't stop. See, I'm back now because I had to reboot my whole system.
Listen,
I'm
That's
like,
right.
wait a minute. Somebody just
when you talking
drop an
good,
Yep.
EMP.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did somebody
But
drop
you know,
an EMP in my ear?
yeah, but let me just tell y'all, I go back to, and I've used this example on this show with John Amos, who played the father, James Evans, on Good Time.
That's right. That's
And
family.
I talk about some person from New Jersey, and I talk about him.
Fatine, get over it, Fatine. Get over
You
it.
know, I like to talk to my group.
Brother
So, because
Fatine,
I feed
don't
off
know
your
what's going
energy.
on.
I
Hold
feed off
on.
your energy. So my
Me
thing
too.
is, with him, he talked about when they were trying to get certain things taken care of on Good Times. Because if you know anything about Good Times, Esther Rolle fought to make sure that there was a father in that show. Because remember, Esther Roll was the queen or the person that had the most acting experience on the show. So she made sure that this was not going to be a fatherless show. That's number one. So when they brought James in, you saw the impact JJ had, but you also saw the impact the father had, but you also saw the whole dynamics of the family. And you saw how that worked. Even through poverty, even through that, there was structure of family and morals and ethics there. So when they wanted to push the show in a more direction of JJ, and the word was buffoonery, the cast had a talk, and they had a talk with James, and this was about money as well. So he said, they came to him, you the leader of the show, you the man, why don't you go talk to Norman Lear and this, that, and the other. We'll be there with you. He goes to talk to Norman Lear, lays out everything on the table, and he said, ain't that right, y'all? Mum silence from the rest of the cast.
Yep.
This is coming out of his mouth in person. I'm there. He said that. That's when y'all remember how to spell Mississippi? M-I, crooked letter, I, crooked letter, I, humpback, I. He went to Mississippi. And in the story, he wound up getting killed. That's why he was killed out. So what they do in this sense is they silence our voice. And what happens is they throw things at us. We talk about Reverend Sharpton, you like him or not like him or whatever. You know he had a 67 count indictment against him. Do you all understand that one indictment on one count, Reverend Sharpton still could be in jail today.
Right.
67 counts. So what I'm saying is when you speak the truth, they have ways of silencing you. And they have ways of coming at you. And that's why we have to be more self-sufficient, because we talk a good talk, but we don't walk a good walk. We got to be able to support. We had the Black Panthers. You had the sisters out there. Now, I'm not talking about Sister Asada. I'm talking about Angela Davis and all these other folks that we needed to get behind.
You and I ain't moving. The Marcus Garvey women.
There you go.
Right.
And we got to be able to support and self-sufficient our people. How do we get people to talk the truth that work for white institutions, that speak out against these institutions? How do you get that? Why do they got to go work for Chase Bank and talk about what JP Morgan Chase has done to our folks? You think that that company is going to continue to employ them when they're making waves and dropping nuggets to our community? So we got to become more self-sufficient and back up our folks. But we don't have that unity amongst us because we have a lot of division in our community.
So Brother Fatim and Brother Sean, but I'm going to come to you since they tried to take me out and now I'm back. Once again, free Grandmaster J. I said it. Okay, y'all want to play games? We can really play now. Free Grandmaster J. NAFAC for life. Okay, now, let me say something. We have to be very careful amongst ourselves because the truth about the matter is they will send us to get us.
That's right.
Always
understand. We have people in our communities that are councilmen, school board members, mayors, working for the mayors, working for the governor, who look like us. They Black and brown folks. Some of them live close to us, but they have not our best intentions at heart. The best intentions they have at heart is getting their pockets right. And guess what? They'll sprinkle me, man. Let me hit some E40, Grambling State University, GSU in the building. Let me hit a little E40 on you. They'll sprinkle me, man, on some of their friends, a little something. But at the end of the day, see, this is the time and the season of exposure. Because a lot of folks are being revealed to real folks. That's why I told folks, I ain't never lost no friends. My true friends got revealed to me. I ain't never lost no friends, but my real friends got revealed to me. This is a revelation time. See, watch this. Amen. I ain't putting all my cards on the table. Jax knows something. I think Fatim knows something. You know, I got folk out here, they on Facebook. You know, I have certain sayings. People put a pretty show on for Facebook. They do good photo ops. They do good little shows for Facebook.
Speak.
But watch this. I got some letters that I just received from some folks. I ain't said nothing but to my closest of close to it. I think I talked to Alethea about it too. Sean, me and you going to have a conversation. But here's what I know. folks will kill your dreams if you reveal it to them before they come to fruition. And let me say this, they send us to get us. And let me tell you something, all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Amen.
All these folks that y'all has got y'all smiling, talking about we putting y'all in office, everybody giving you a chicken plate, a chicken dinner, talking
That's
about
right.
I support these programs for our black kids. No, they support their pockets. They not supporting the community, they supporting themselves. They just happen to figure out a way to mask their greed in I am a community activist. You're not a community activist, you one greedy SOB.
All of this is doing nothing but revealing the puppets.
That's right.
Revealing the puppets. And who is the puppet master? This is all that this is doing is showing who they are with their mask off and their puppets.
Yep.
That's it. This just like you said, it is exposure. You can only be fake for so long. You can only be fake for so long before the real you comes out. And how I know this is because women, ladies, if you have an actual Louis Vuitton bag, and then if you get a knockoff one, you will tell which one is the real one and which one is the knockoff, because the knockoff will start to show exactly what it is. It will show that it's not real. It's going to start to fade and crack, and it's going to show eventually what it really is. Right now, we have knockoff versions.
That's right.
Walking around.
So wait a minute.
We have
We got
knockoff
T-Boo
versions.
people. We got T-Boo people. They T-Boo.
Yeah. They're not authentic. They're not authentic. They're not authentic.
I'm gonna throw this to Jax, Alethea, Sean, and I'm gonna throw it to y'all and the chat. But let me go ahead and say this, since they done already shut me off once and they might shut me off again. Let me say this. We got brothers out there that got 1 foot in the dope house, 1 foot in City Hall. Oh,
that's right. That's right.
We got sisters that got 1 foot in the classroom, 1 foot in the whole house and in the strip club. Oh,
listen.
Hold on. We got folks that got 1 foot in money laundering and stealing money from grants, talking about, oh, I got this grant to help the community. But if you break it down, no, you got this grant to help pay yourself. That's why all that PPP loan fraud got exposed. Now let me say something. We just elected a gangster into office. I said we. I didn't say them. I said we. Because those of us who didn't put the word out there that we shouldn't have did it, we just as much responsible as those who did it. But here's the problem. Some of y'all got 1 foot in hell and 1 foot in heaven. That don't work. You gotta choose the side. See,
that's right.
Yeah, some of y'all gonna get mad because some of y'all got one hand in the white man's pocket and the other man in the hood, and the other hand in the hood.
You can't serve two masters, man. You can't serve two masters.
Doing this number. You know what? Them white people ain't about nothing. But you run back to them white people, put your hand in the pockets, and tell on everybody in the hood. Oh, I'm gonna call y'all out for exactly what y'all doing, because from now on, times have stopped. Then y'all want to put on these Facebook shows. Oh yeah, people turn on your Facebook. There you are taking pictures.
You're so stupid.
Hold it.
Joe, crazy as hell.
Who really know what's going on,
showing off,
is laughing. Is like, I don't care what uniform you put on. I don't care what background you put in the background. Real folk who know the real deal are sitting there really halfway laughing at folks.
That's
talking
right.
about really. So it's you got such a narcissistic spirit that you feel the need to post all this garbage on Facebook. You ain't who you posting. And I know you ain't who you posted. As I once told somebody, and I stick to this, behind closed doors, I helped a lot of y'all. Some of y'all still owe me money.
That's right. That's right.
Now mention that the next time you mention my name in the dark.
That's right. And you know what, Joe, a lot of people don't realize it. So when I tie in mental health to exactly what you're saying, people don't realize the level of stress that you have to that is placed upon you when you're playing these two different roles, right? You one way in the street, but you want, you know what I'm saying? So they don't realize that our minds are very resilient and strong, but our minds at the same token are still fragile, right? So if you're trying to act like this, but you're really doing that, you got to watch it, because it's going to come out. You know, so I know I'm so thankful because I have been so authentic, and I have been, if you meet somebody that knew me when I was a little girl to somebody that know me now, they always say Jack's been the same. Jack's always been about her people. Jax has been authentic. I'm just, you know, I'm blessed to just, and I know you guys in many ways too, because at the core we have to be who we are from day one. You know, you can't be all flip flopping. Now, of course, you're going to evolve, you're going to change, you're going to make some decisions that are good, some decisions that are bad. But at the core, you still got to be who you are. I could walk in any circle and get respect, whether it be from the dope man on the street to the fiend someplace else. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to be authentic in who we are. And you know, something popped up on my Facebook today from 2020 that I posted, right? And it said, and I made this little graphic. It says reset humanity. So in resetting humanity, what I said back in 2020, I said, worry about your own house, cook your own food, educate your own children, embrace your alone time, use a spirit of discernment, be careful who you let in your house, be mindful of where you go, set and respect boundaries, love your own spouse, manage your own money, plow your own field, love God and love yourself, and count your blessings. We're so busy worried about everything else when all of our stuff is just in shambles. You know, so we really have
Listen,
to just,
yes.
yes, we really have to just cultivate and grow ourselves and really worry about what's going on under my roof. Let me take care of what's going on under my roof and still make it happen from there. Right? Because we
Because
all gonna say,
we have to learn our lane. And once you
mhm,
learn your lane, it is okay to stay in your lane, because what happens is whenever you keep jumping lanes, switching
yep,
lanes, eventually you're gonna cause a wreck.
that's right.
Well,
That's
You're
right.
and
gonna cause a
that's
wreck.
and
That's
that
right. And we
shows
gotta
you,
understand
and
we all
that
gonna
shows you
have
where
battles.
that's
Hmm.
when you cause that wreck, when
Hmm.
you jump from lane to lane,
Hmm.
you don't know who you are. You understand? Not to say you have to stay in a lane. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
times we say we stay in our lane, and we stay in our lane because we may be professional on something, so I'm staying in that lane. But when you just gave that example and what you said, Sister Jackson, and
Mhm.
I don't sugarcoat shit. Y'all know that.
I know it.
So
Yeah.
I don't sugarcoat nothing. But what I'm saying is that we can have this conversation about us as a people without hating other people.
That's right.
But I'm not sitting out here making disclaimers because your ego or your ego is bruised because of the truth. I
That's right.
don't have to walk around here with a scowl on my face hating people, even
Amen.
though some white folks think that if we black people came into power like they came into, like they are, then we would do to them what they've been doing to us.
Mhm.
And I'm not sitting here saying this or that about that. But what I'm saying is I can be pro-black without hating, because Dr. King talked about love. Didn't I
Yes.
tell y'all before? And I said it
Yeah.
on another, the answer is love. The
Hmm.
answer is love. But I ain't got to be a punk. That if I love you, I'm still no punk. You
Hmm.
understand what I'm saying? I'm going to stand up for who I am as a man and as a black man. You understand? Because it's really stand up and be a black man, stand up and be a man, and then stand up and just be.
Hmm.
You understand what I'm
Mm.
saying? But you've got to elevate to that part, and everybody doesn't vibrate. So a lot of people say, well, why do you always want to bring race into this? Well, the reason why we have to bring race into this, because that's what their foundation has been balanced on,
Hmm.
is basically taking advantage of other people's ethnic groups and taking from them. You look at the Native Americans,
Hmm.
you look at black folks, what happened? They came onto this land, they exploited the Native Americans. They come into Africa, they raped the Africa, they
Yeah.
brought us over here. Everything they touched turns to mud, and it's
Hmm.
destruction. And people get caught up in this system because you got to go to work, you got to do this, but you got to learn to have an independent mind. And the way
That's
that
right.
you can have an independent mind is when you are more control of yourself. Yeah, you go to their schools, but you don't. When you leave out of school, that don't mean that you got to continue reading every book that they give you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You grow your library. You grow
Chompy.
that. We
Yeah.
got this here. The same way that you can look up and Google something. Y'all see, I come up with a lot of answers on a lot of things. The
Hmm.
information is out there, y'all.
And it's
That's
And
right.
it can
endless.
be done. And there's nothing wrong with having a good time. It ain't nothing wrong with going out and party and this, that, and the other. I party And look, I marched in Bensonhurst when Yusuf Hawkins got shot and killed because of his race. And I can go party Saturday night, but I know what my job was. And I never let partying take me away from my responsibility and what I needed to do. We can enjoy life. You just can't forget about life.
That's
the problem.
Fatine, and that's so right. And that's why it always takes me back to scripture where it says, envieth not thine oppressor and take on none of his ways, right? Oh, wait, Alethea, you're muted, babe.
Yeah, you're muted, Alethea.
You're muted.
Unmute yourself.
I said it best. We're not vengeful. We are just going to remind you who we are. We're just going to remind you.
That's right. That's right. And like I was saying, Alethea, when you were on mute, I was saying the scripture says, envieth not thine oppressor and take on none of his ways. Right.
Yes.
So we really have to understand that and take it deep down into our core and really understand what that means. Like they came to a place where we were and we were thriving, you know, like we taught them. And then they took it back to their land, and like you said, Fatine or Sean, like made it muddied it up. You know,
muddied it up. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, muddied it up because that's what they do. You know, whether it be our dances, our music, our style, our fashion, you know, our flair, our belief in the Most High, they're going to take it and muck it all up. And when you even take it further back to scripture was very separatist, right? It wasn't all kumbaya, all everybody together. No, it was separated into the tribes, right? It was separated into God's chosen people. It said it was the 12 tribes of Israel. Those tribes, and you marry and you mingle, but you still deal with the people amongst your tribes, not with the other nations. Right? Because they knew. Go ahead.
Well, let me say this. You know, one of the things I think, in my humble opinion, that we wind up because of click, like, and share, because folks want to be the top dog instead of being a part of the community. See, folks want to be the HNIC. If they can't be the HNIC, if all the focus and the spotlight can't be on them. See, some folks is like this. If I can't be the captain of the ship, I'm going to sink the ship.
That's right.
See, and that's where we really got to start, as Brother Fatim say, as much as me and him sometimes go at it, I have to agree with my brother above everything. Our problem is we got to start calling folks out when they did wrong, and they ain't trying to help the system. They trying to hurt the system because they can't get the spotlight from the system on them and on them directly. We got to get folks like that and understand they will always be there, but we can't pay them no attention because guess what? Times that we start addressing the dumb takes us from addressing the real. And guess what? There are folks out there who need to hear the real and understand the real. Brother Sean P., speak on it, brother.
Now, we had a question in the chat, a very good question. The brother Marcus, I believe his name, Marcus.
Yes. I was looking at
because it. All of us here on the panel have other things we doing online outside of this show. He said, should our digital era personality be like our real personality? And I'm gonna go back to what Jack said a little while ago. I don't like the phrase code switching. I don't like flip-flopping back and forth. If I go talk to a 4th grade class right now, I'm gonna talk to them. I'm talking to y'all right now, and I go and talk to my boss at work, and I'll talk to a president or whoever the same way. I don't want to have to change gears. Oh, I'm talking to Jax. Let me change. I'm talking to Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
Off the mic. Let me change it. No, I want to be the same way, consistent and be congruent in my spirit. And I go to bed real good at night knowing I'm the same way all the time. My mental health is at ease, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
And everybody, hold it. And everybody ain't like that. Sister Alethea, I'm gonna come right to you. But everybody ain't like that. See, understand, some folk have to be a certain way online because of click, like, and share, and because of revenue. Because that's it. So, hey, we done found that out in the music business. Folks talking about killing, shooting, and raping, but when you meet them, they got Harvard PhD, they got degrees from Harvard. You ain't about that life. You didn't grow up. Hold it. People want to Ja Morant folk all the time. Run around holding guns, talking about I'll block of you. Hold up, bro. You went to such and such prep school.
Yeah.
Hold on, stop that. Stop that.
That's
See, everybody want to talk that until it's time to be that. Then you find out who's real and who's not. I ain't there no more. Like I said, and I stand on it. Half of you got one foot in one place, but one foot in the other. And neither one of the places you got the foot at matches the other. One of you got your foot in the whole house, but you got your foot in the church. How you gonna have one foot in the whole house Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? Hold it. Monday, Tuesday. You go to church on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you in the whole house, but Wednesday and Sunday, you in the church house. Make up your mind. And guess what? We've all done it. Raise it. Hold it. Let me hold it. Where folks won't say, "Oh,
Absolutely.
Joe talking a lot of noise. What you done did? A lot. I done lied.
All
I
of
done
us.
stole.
All of
I done
us.
been a hoe. I done did all that. But guess what? I done woke up and I don't do
Everybody.
that
All
no
of
more.
us.
That's
Yep.
why
So-
I'm here to tell folks we got to start getting it together. And you got to
Let me
call
just-
yourself out. Go ahead, brother.
Let me just say this because I know Alethea want to come in. So a lot was said there, you know, and I had a smile on my face. And me, you know, and Sister Jackson, we've had these conversations, you know, and I go back to my 20s, and you know, it's just interesting of being aware, going to college, have a college degree, and then come back home and then have to build with the 5%ers and the Muslims and the righteous people in my community that I felt less educated, right? So partying and doing this, that, and the other. But then I remember this, and y'all like to always joke, and I joke with this, but I'm serious with this. When Brother Marcus said about the whole thing about your digital persona, sometimes that digital persona, now we're in the digital, will not match your persona at that particular time. Sometimes we look at a righteous person, a person that's moving in that positive way, that their persona matches. Just like Jack's persona matches her. She says that. Yeah, and see, Sean, I didn't comment on that book, but there's a series of those books. See, I come from that. That science there. I come from that. But what I'm saying is I started to smile because there's times when I've walked around and had a group of females just around me, and they may not have been walking all in a positive light, but I could drop a nugget to them. Then the next time I have them, when I use this word, I'm not joking about this, I'm serious. When I can have a group of people, and it was majority of women at my house at one time. I had a building group where I had a organizational leader speak at Clara Barton High School, got so heavy, we took it to my house. What you do is sometimes those personas will not meet. And you can't continue to preach at people. You got to teach people. You got to spoon feed people. You understand? Because there's a lot of good people that do things that is not always considered good. I always talked about this before. What is that? There's people with bad habits, and there's people with bad personality flaws. What Joe mentioned, there's people that go to church on Sunday and they're the worst people during the week. And then there's a person that don't go to church and may drink alcohol or smoke weed, but they'll feed the hungry. They'll give you their shirt off their back. There's a difference between bad habits and personality defects.
That part.
And
Hold
you know,
on.
That part. So that's why we don't throw bones at people, because if you throw bones and judge from the exterior, the outside, then you don't know what the interior, the inside of the person. So you got to meet people sometime where they're at, and you got to make them comfortable that they feel like we can relate. Because sometimes you can help our brothers and sisters come out of that quicksand.
Right.
Okay.
So let me, with that all being said, listen, hashtag truth be told and got to be, hold it. We started off 4, 3, 2, now we 6. Listen, y'all, I done brought in a mental health muse. My good friend, this is my brother, man. I love this brother. This brother, even during my injury, this brother has spoken to me, has said some things that edify my spirit. Y'all, I got to put it up. This is my man, Chris Moran McNeil. He in the building, mental health professional, because we got to try to start addressing all of it. Because guess what? Through a lot of all this, a lot of us have mental illness that has been unprescribed, undiagnosed. We out here schizophrenic, all kind of stuff. And then folk looking at us like, what wrong with you? What wrong with you is you got the mental disorder. And guess what? It's okay not to be okay. What's not okay is not to go get help and get it fixed.
That's right.
Chris, welcome, brother. Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Can everybody hear me?
We doing
Yes.
good.
Yes,
VA,
sir. What's up, man?
Virginia in the
Peace,
building.
Awesome.
So wait a minute.
peace.
We got Louisiana, we got South Carolina, New York, we got New Jersey, and
Come
we
on.
got now Virginia in the building. This thing is
Okay.
growing, y'all.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, about South Carolina, both sets of my grandparents are from there.
What
Okay.
part?
So
What
yeah,
part?
my dad's from the Myrtle Beach area, Georgetown, and
Hmm.
my mom's side's from Beaufort.
Buford. Okay, no,
Wow.
Yeah,
both
Beaufort.
places. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
Okay.
Wow. You know
So
what, y'all, Chris? Every time I see your face, like y'all don't understand. I love this brother so much. We sat for a couple of years studying mental health and the
yep.
mind lockstep in class for a
Hmm.
couple of years in Philadelphia at the
Sure
Lincoln
did.
University. So I mean, look, I need to throw my MHS up there, Chris.
You
Hey, you
got
know what?
to.
I saw his name, but I should have put mine on there. When I saw his name, I said I should have put mine on my thing too.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Well, you can
yeah.
always go
Mental
back
health in
and
the
do it.
building,
There ain't
baby.
no
Mental
problem.
health in the
Right.
building.
Let's
Absolutely.
do
Yes,
it.
and you know, Chris, and I know you can elaborate and speak on this. So, like Sean and
Hmm.
Fatina, we're all saying, in terms
Hmm.
of responding to Brother Marcus Allen's statement about the digital life has equated to money, and he said some other stuff prior to.
Let
But
me
Hmm.
put
I
that
think
up here.
people get
Hold
it
on.
misconstrued. I think people get it misconstrued sometimes. Like we all have a public self, right? And we have a private self. But the difference is that public and private self still have to merge. So you know how you have the Venn
Hmm.
diagram, right? And you have the intersectionality like right in the middle.
Yeah,
It
right in the
all
middle.
has to have your core values and everything
Hmm.
still tied in. So yes, we might go into a corporate room where we have to change our voice a little bit and be a little more polished and poised and professional. Walk out of that room, you go to the restaurant down the block, you see your homeboys and your homegirls. Now you laying back, you chilling, you talk, you
Facts.
dapping it up, right? So
Yeah.
yeah. So even online, you still have to have a public self, right? But you still
Hmm.
have a private self, but it still has to have some intersectionality because if not, that's where the mental health issues start to come into play because you're trying to be
Right.
two completely different people,
Hmm.
and that's
Because
the unhealthy side of it.
what
So
what's
true.
that what that is causing is imposter syndrome.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Mm,
That
mm.
is what that is. Like you're now in your mind really believing
Yeah.
that you are this person, knowing that you really not, and then you have to, okay, well, who am I going to be today? And it
Exactly.
gets confusing to eat to you, and it messes with your psyche because somebody tried to call. Listen, I am who I am 24/7. Just,
Yeah.
Hmm.
just like Joe said,
Yes.
I have done some things in my past, and people will try to throw some. Well, she want to be positive, but she used to be a hoe. Yes,
Hmm.
I
Exactly.
was.
That
And
part.
I was a
Oh,
good
I
one,
admit to mine.
and I can admit that. But I'm honest about who I am. I'm honest about who I am. There is no imposter about me.
That's
I
right.
Let
am
me,
Come on,
who I
Sean.
am.
Come on, Sean.
Tell us this.
Go ahead, Sean, because I
Come
wanted
on,
to
Sean.
say something about the
yeah,
imposter syndrome
yeah,
before we
yeah,
go on. Really,
right.
is that this is interesting. We can look at this imposter syndrome, and I go back to Tupac and Biggie, because I see the involvement of rap, just like a lot of us are seeing the involvement of hip hop, and to be there and to work with the conscious rappers from Public Enemy and X Clan and Poor Righteous
KRS-One.
Tivas,
Yes.
knowing
Yes.
Brother Chris, knowing
DRT.
Chris, knowing Chris,
Mhm.
KRS-One, knowing
Hmm.
that, and then to see where we're at, but to sit down. Well, I never met Tupac. I knew Tupac moms, but I never met Tupac. I never met Biggie. But understanding the dynamic of who Tupac was, he was a genius, and Tupac was a genius. And Dr. Michael Eric Dyson talked about teaching. He did create a curriculum in college off of hip hop and Tupac. But
Yes,
what I'm saying is the
yes,
imposter syndrome. I'm gonna take a part of this because I know what you was talking about, Alethea, the imposter syndrome. Who are you? Where are you? You basically acting out, doing something,
Mhm.
and it's not you. I took the imposter syndrome to become who I am today. And I told y'all that. I've used Richie Cunningham from Happy Days and Fonzie because I wanted to be that person with the brains, but I also wanted to be the cool person. And if anybody knows my persona today, is that, you know, you could catch me with my hat backwards, but you know I can go into the White House. You know I can speak to a governor and this, that, and the other, and I do that.
With a nice pipe out,
because you
nice pipe out.
Yeah, you know. So what Sister Jack said is you merge this. So the imposter syndrome can work in a positive way, but it also works in a negative way. So let me give this to, it's just because I got a person that's not in the chat, but is watching the show. And I think that we got to remember that we can't forget the young. That's why I always got to make sure that we are talking to the young folks, because we can't talk at them. We got to talk with them. And a lot of things that you're seeing, we talked about BET, and I don't feel like breaking this down, but some of these hip hop artists don't live that life.
No.
It's called the imposter syndrome.
No.
So when you see this gangster stuff on television and stuff like that, and you rooting for them. Remember, we talked about the gangsters, Frank Nitti. If you look at Irv Gotti, real Irv Gotti, look at the names and things that we mimic. We take on that imposter syndrome. And when we take on that imposter syndrome, we start to believe that we are who we call ourselves. You understand? But that's not who we really are. And if you notice, a lot of these folks that had taken on that lifestyle to preach that and felt that they had to live it, what has happened? They died by it. They died by it. So we got to get smarter, because the images that we see, that we try to portray, we become imposters to other people. But the biggest person that we delude is ourselves. We become an imposter to ourselves. We got to find out our authentic core person and value who we are. Is nothing wrong to like that, to enjoy it, but realize, come back to the reality world when you turn that off, because that's the reality world. We don't turn the reality world on and off, because when you start trying to do that, then you lose yourself. And when you're lost, you can't help no one, and you definitely can't help yourself.
Brother Sean P.
I want to inject something right quick. So from high school until now, I've been doing stage acting for a long time. So I know what it takes to get into a role mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to not just play somebody, but embody a role. Right. And we see people like Denzel Washington and these high-level actors. At a certain point, no matter how good they are, they got to put that role down. At a certain point, they say, cut, and he's Denzel again. He's not Malcolm X anymore.
Yeah.
And some of the people that can't do that, we see them have mental health issues. Like they end up in
therapy.
When he played the Joker, there's certain people, when they play Michael B. Jordan, when he played Killmonger, he mentioned going to mental health for so long after that role, because it took so much to embody the Killmonger role. When he finished playing that role, he had a lot of mental health help. Even Will Smith in his book, Will Smith mentioned playing a certain role so long, it took him a long time, and it damaged his relationship, it damaged his household. So I'm gonna just leave it at that when it comes to like literally acting and what that can do to you if you can't.
So
let me just say this real quick. I'm only stepping on y'all for one thing. My cousin just came in the chat. Let me say who he is. I don't want to cry. I swear to God, I don't want to cry. If this wasn't for this brother, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. My cousin Cupid Adams, we call him the Kingologist. This brother stayed on my backside. He grew up with my brother. He taught me some of the things most of the things that I know today. He led me there. He's still an educator. He's the one that worked with Randy Weingarten, which I brought up. He's still at Clara Barton High School teaching. And he became a student of Dr. King. He didn't just listen to the speeches. He read and reread Dr. King's own words. So when I introduced him to, he's in the chat. When I introduced him to Martin Luther King III, Martin Luther King III was floored by my cousin, because he said, you understand my father more than some of my siblings understand my father. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what you got to do. That's why I have to pay homage to my cousin, because when I'm walking down the street with the big boom box and my hat backwards, he was like, I get it, you go to college, but remember who you are, my brother, and remember who you come from. Remember, you represent your parents, and it's about respect. And we had this tussle, we had this push and pull, but that's how we grew. And when I said I used to have them functions at my house with a lot of people, he was there. He was there, and I had to pay homage, and I bow to my cousin, and I thank my cousin, and I say to Cupid Adams, I love you, bro. Because if you didn't pour into me, I couldn't pour into somebody else. We got to pay this forward, y'all. And I just have to take that moment just to acknowledge him while he came in, because I know his ass is at work today.
Cuban Adams was Petite a bad boy when he was little? Because he bad as hell now.
Oh,
So I want to know about,
tell you.
about little
19 minutes past the hour. Welcome to hashtag Truth Be Told. We are broadcasting live on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. You can like our Facebook page. We do have a hashtag Truth Be Told Facebook page. Look, the reason I jumped in and gave the time and kind of the orchestrator of how we do this, Brother McNeil, I know you only got maybe about 10 more minutes. So here's what I want to drill down on in these next 10 minutes. It's okay not to be okay. You need to start doing some mental health wellness checks on yourself. You need to write down 3 things that daily you look at and say, this is where my mental health is important. This is what I can do to improve on it, not only for myself, but for everyone around me. Because guess what? A healthy you is a better you. And you need to be holistically healthy, mind, body, and soul. So, Brother Chris, give us some mental health tips on how we can check ourselves, keep ourselves in a frame of mind. And listen, it ain't nothing wrong with going seeing somebody like Brother Chris. Don't mean that you're crazy. Actually, it means you're sane. It means that you're smart enough to know that I need help. Because if you catch a flu, you don't stay at home. You go see the doctor. So guess what? Some of y'all got flu of the mind.
Go see the doctor.
Go see the doctor. Brother Chris, the floor is yours. Let's get it.
That's all about mental health. Go see the doctor.
So everything you said, Joe, was great. And I see this almost on a daily basis because I do not only I do therapy, but I also do 988 work. And I'm seeing it all the time. I'm going to share something with y'all that I put together for some clients yesterday. And someone here had mentioned something about code switching. Code switching will actually make you bipolar. You're battling 2 different spheres. You know, you're one way at home, and then you have to go to work and be another way there. There's no continuity. You know, you're a different person. You know, your voice changes. You know, they say you sound different on the phone than you sound at home. Well, the people say that's your moneymaker voice, right? But that's how code switching is. And I wish there was another word for it, but that's the best word I can come up with. In that instance, flip-flopping. Right. And then when we talk about getting help, it's okay to go to the doctor. I know years ago we didn't trust doctors because of all the the Henrietta Lacks and all the experiments, Tuskegee and all that. They were really intentional about making us sick and making subjects.
Oh no. See there?
Not again.
The man playing with it. You got it, Chris. Here you go, Chris.
Will make you
Chris, yeah, who shot JR? Come on, Chris, the man on us today. Let's go. Hey, bring your camera up a little bit too, because all I'm seeing is your lovely smile. There you go.
I hope you ain't an imposter. I hope you ain't a clone. Who cloned Tyrone?
You're right. So, and
are you AI?
There you go.
I do have an AI image. I'm gonna share that with y'all. It came out pretty clear. It was crazy. But when we talk about mental illness, we talk about going to the doctor, and they may prescribe medication, they may prescribe therapy, they may prescribe a plan to get you off medication at some point. But we have to understand that some things have to be chemically treated. We everything is not just talk therapy. Everything is not just talking to somebody.
Pray about it.
Right. Some people have to take something because it's not a character flaw, it's a chemistry flaw in your body. And what happens is it affects all your areas of your life, your mental, your spiritual, your emotional, your relationships with people. And so some things have really happened. When we talk about secondary trauma, it's hearing a story about somebody else's trauma. it's something to take on. So what I've been sharing with some clients is this, and if you guys need a copy of this, I can send it to you. Okay. Mental illness is what showed up, what's the scope and cause of it, and it starts to manifest itself. The symptoms start to show up. Mental illness is the tornado.
Yep.
Okay. And as far as mental health, it's how are we going to handle what shows up on our doorstep? What's the damage that has been done? What are the potatoes of pain and the onions of hurt that we've buried underneath ourselves? Okay. How are we going to maintain or address those issues or symptoms that come? Because mental health contains and it should lead to the solution to the issue of the problem. So if you're, out here not doing what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to be on medication, but you're drinking and drugging. You talk about your symptoms multiplying and being bigger than what they are, because individuals don't take care of themselves. And I know, we have this saying that black don't crack, but your mind can.
That's right.
Black don't crack, but your mind can. And we're not above medication. We're not above depressive situations. We're not above issues that come, because life is lifing right now. It's wild out here right now. And if you don't have a base, if you don't have a faith, if you don't have people like a village to help you through, the mind can crack. And it could be everyday stuff. Like, like you lose your job, and then there's a domino effect. You can't find work, you lose your house, you lose your car, whatever. That weighs on the mind. You're trying to figure out how you're going to make ends meet, and you don't have no ends coming in. So that's all I share with people, and as far as us as a community, we need to continue to educate. We need to continue to be unified. We need to continue to be organized, and we need to have partnership. We keep worrying about who's going to be in charge, and there ain't no unity at all, and ain't no organization at all.
So, Brother Chris, and I got a little message for y'all. This is a nice message. Somebody said good morning to y'all. Reverend Sharpton. He just said good morning because he just gave me a call. I said, I'm doing this to the podcast. Tell the crew good morning. So he just said good morning.
Good morning,
so,
Reverend.
Brother Chris, as you were speaking, I did a little quick thing here. And since you have that degrees behind you, same with you, Jax, as a life coach, I looked at post-traumatic slave syndrome, PTSS, okay? And now it's not classified, follow me, y'all. It's not classified as a mental illness in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Remember who came out with that, who created the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual.
Right.
And a lot of those folks were not looking at race as that at that moment. But it is a concept. And when I say but it is, I'm talking about post-traumatic slave syndrome, PTSS. It is a concept that describes the intergenerational psychological effects of slavery, systemic racism, and oppression on Black communities and Black people. It was developed by a good friend of mine, Dr. Joy DeGruy, in her book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, America's Legacy of Enduring Injury and Healing. That book came out 2005. PTSS, or post-traumatic slave syndrome, is closely related to, PTSS, I'm sorry. PTSS is closely related to post-traumatic stress disorder. In that, it describes trauma responses such as hypervigilance, low self-esteem, internalized racism, and difficulty trusting institutions resulting from centuries of slavery, segregation, and ongoing racial discrimination. Unlike PTSD, which results from a single traumatic event or series of events within an individual's lifetime. Post-traumatic slave syndrome is a historical and collective trauma that has been passed down through generations.
Mhm.
The theory suggests that enslaved Africans experienced extreme physical, psychological, and emotional trauma that was never properly addressed. After slavery, the trauma persisted through lynching, Jim Crow law, mass incarceration, economic disenfranchisement, and institutional racism.
Mhm.
This contributed to disparities in mental health, economic status, and educational opportunities within Black communities. I could go on and on. I just want to stop there. Because even when I was getting on our lost brothers that tend to make it and don't look back and forget about their own kind, they are also victims of post-traumatic slave syndrome. And if we are going to look at this and understand what post-traumatic slave syndrome, and that it is a certain type of mental illness that is generational, is intergenerational, it's passed on, that then we cannot come to solutions. Because even though you want to get angry at our lost brothers and sisters, because they make you so mad that when they turn on what you're trying to do, but you even have to understand their psyche. That you got to understand the psyche that somebody that looked like Jax or lighter than Jax decided, I don't want to live as a Black person. I want to go living as a white person. You saw that in the movie Imitation of Life. The daughter did not want to identify with her Blackness because of how Black people were treated. That is also post-traumatic slave syndrome. And we want to blame them, but they are victims of this horrific institution, systemic racism. And we got to understand that, because if we understand it, then we can have compassion. Even though we get angry at our brothers and sisters that have turned their backs on us, we still would have compassion and the love that Dr. King talked about. I don't got to like you, but I understand the love. That's how we can help our brothers and sisters. But we got to first understand that. So brothers like you, Chris, and sisters like you, Sister Jax, and Alethea, that going out and you're speaking to people, we cannot forget to make sure that we include this, because this is something that they don't talk about. They don't include these in these bigger conferences and conversations, but this is how we are affected, and it's going to get worse for what they're getting ready to do now, or what they are doing now.
So, Brother Fatim, I really appreciate that. We're going to dive deeper even tomorrow into this conversation.
Yes.
Brother Chris, I know you got to go, brother. So before you go, let folks know how they get in touch with you.
Okay.
Glad to have you a part of this, man. Glad to know that you're taking this journey with us. And family, you're going to see Chris a lot more, because he's going to be popping on with some mental health checks, because he's our mental health muse. And we got some things, God just blessed me last night. Jax, when I call you, I'm going to blow your mind. But family, go ahead. Let us know how to get in touch with you, Chris. And I know we'll see you tomorrow. I know you got to get out of here. Just tell people how they can follow you, how they can get in touch with you if they need your services.
Yeah. I'm connected with Jax, Brother Fatim, and Joe on all platforms. And my Instagram is the official Chris McNeil. And you can really get me there. Facebook, Chris Morant McNeil. And definitely I'm under Joe. Like I said, I'm under Brother Fatim, and I'm the Jax. So looking forward to continuing the conversation tomorrow. I got a crisis call I got to get to. But I appreciate the prayers and everything, but I will definitely be back on tomorrow, and we can definitely continue the conversation. And love you guys. God bless you.
Love you, Chris.
God bless you too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
All
That's
right.
Chris Moran McNeil. Moran
Wait,
is in John Moran.
Yes, and I got a question. How is my light skinnedness coming up twice today? Fatim, you were just talking about light skin. Alethea, you laughing. Joe, I think was you the one that said like, what? Is my big forehead and shea butter shining?
Hold on. Last time I checked, Sister Jax, and I think mine's a little bit lighter than yours. I wake up with somebody who's just a little bit shade lighter than you. So all I can say is I ain't got nothing but love for my lightly caramel sisters.
Yeah, I brought it up. I brought it up.
My complexion. How come you ain't say yourself? Why you say me?
Yeah, because I know anybody my complexion couldn't pass as white. You understand what I'm saying? My mother was fair.
My mother was breezed up this morning with shea butter.
But my My mother was slightly lighter than you, Jack. And like I said, she's not here. And to have these kind of conversations, because she took it as a badge of honor to be able to go in white folks' homes and cook and clean in the South. But her badge of honor, not only from that, because it was prestigious that you can get into these big houses and do all that kind of stuff. But it also was prestigious because I couldn't forget why she had to do that. She didn't have to do it. She was in school. My grandmother, her mother, had a stroke. And my mother and her two siblings, her sisters, my mother was the oldest, so she had to fend. But that mentality, you understand? And then to see our brothers and sisters go at one another and fight and maim and do all this and do that, it just hurts, because it's a lot of times that it's not them per se, it's them doing the act, but it's those that are pulling the strings that causes them to do those
things. Hey, and I want to say this. I want to say this. It is 35 minutes after the hour. As we continue to move on in this 5 days of Have We Lost Our Mind? And I see we are beginning to find our consciousness. And I'm so happy about that. I want us to begin to each one humble ourselves to not only be leaders, but good followers. I want to say that again. Instead of always having the most to say, some of us need to have the least to say and the most to listen. And we need to position ourselves to understand that we all play a part in our advancement or our demise.
That's right.
So put yourself in a position of understanding. I wake up every morning and I pray a prayer where I say, I would love today for the Most High to bless me to be an understanding person more than I need to be understood.
That's right.
And I think sometimes we need to really get to a place where we understand we have a lot to do with what goes on, not only with us and those around us, but with our community, with our city, with our state, with this country. Brother Sean, go ahead, my friend.
I saw in the comments that Dre B. Watson asked the question to me about what book do I recommend today. Today I brought two publications. I have The Science of Self, Man, God, and the Mathematical Language of Nature. This is volume 1. This is a series of books about Dr. Supreme Understanding.
Hold on.
Now,
give us the other book. Give us the other book.
Wait. Hold on, Joe. Let's go back to this title. The Science of Self, Man, God, and the Mathematical Language of Nature. Because I read this book, volume 1. I read this book. It's also another book about supreme mathematics, and deals with Black liberation.
The Science of Self and the Knowledge of Self. Two books.
I have both of them. Okay, I want you to go, once you go into this, I want you to go into that other book.
Okay. And this book is An Efficient Womanhood, Women in the Making of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. It is Women's History Month. That's why I brought this book out. I'm interviewing this author pretty soon, Professor Latanya Duncan. She spent 25 years researching and writing this book about the wonderful women that are undocumented and their contributions to Marcus Garvey UNIA movement. Is a phenomenal book. Every sister needs to read this book, every household, about our wonderful women. All these movements, Black Panther Party, Civil Rights Movement, the women were the real ones to do the brunt of the work. And us guys got to always talk about that. When I first started being an avid reader 15, 20 years ago, I was in my Huey P. Newton and Fred Hampton and Geronimo Pratt. And one of my sisters said, hold on, son, I love what you're doing, but go and read about the sisters in the party. So ever since then, Asada Shakur, Angela Davis, Erica Huggins got a brand new book, just came out last month. And I make it a point to all of the male leaders we had, I go and find their wives' publications.
Amen.
Right?
Was
Paul Robeson's wife, Betty Shabazz, of course, Coretta Scott. All the leaders there, I find their wives' publications.
Amen.
Right. Let me ask you this about that book.
Yes, sir.
So read that title again.
Hold up. Let me bring you back up. Some people want a screenshot of both those books. Hold on.
Okay.
There you go.
Just read the whole title again.
Yes, sir. Here it comes. An Efficient Womanhood, Women in the Making of the Universal Negro Improvement Association.
So who was behind the Negro Improvement Association?
This is Marcus Garvey.
Gotcha.
Marcus
right. That is correct.
Who just got his pardon, a few months ago?
Yeah.
And it's a damn shame. And it's a damn. Who gave him his pardon?
Joe Biden.
Okay, well, that was right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah, very much so.
Yeah. Because I didn't think the other guy was gonna.
For the screenshot, anybody out there watching, Science Itself. Dr. Supreme has about 25 books. 25.
You're not gonna get that book there in Barnes and Noble.
All of them.
Yeah, that book there. You ain't gonna get that in Barnes and Noble now.
That's right.
You ain't gonna get that. No, you're not.
None of this.
Yeah, you're not gonna get that in Barnes and Noble there. But that
so
Science of Self is.
Try to find your black book housing places. Go online. Find your black press. We live in a time right now. Y'all saying at the top of the show, they're trying to pull our books. They're trying to do all this brand stuff. But guess what? They haven't banned the books at your house yet. Get your home library. Get your home library stocked up.
Why you say they haven't did the Fahrenheit to us yet, huh? What was that movie, Fahrenheit? What was that? With Michael B. Jordan, Fahrenheit? They haven't Michael B. Jordan yet.
But look, one thing about, let me just say this, Sean.
Yeah, go ahead.
We talk about this. You talked about this earlier on when you first came on the show.
Yes, sir.
And one of the things that you talked about, Jax jumped in and chimed in, because I remember when you first came on, we were talking about children's books. And there's somebody that I'm thinking her name is Sister Vanette, and she deals with a lot of book authors out there that deal with children's books. Yeah. And what we got to do is also, we're talking about promoting books for ourselves. We got to honestly start promoting those authors that gear books to our children, because there's a lot of books that gear to our children that our children are impressionable now. You understand?
You will love this. I love this for the past few years. A lot of our major books, these people are making a young adult version for these books.
Yes.
The 1619 Project, there's a children's version. Just Mercy. That was a Jamie Foxx and Michael B. Jordan movie. There's a young adult version of Just Mercy. Right. So a lot of books at my house, I go and get the young adult version and the adult version. So for our youth, there are things you can go out there and get. There's a brand new Malcolm X book that's coming out in a few months by Dr. Ibram X. Kendi. He has a young adult Malcolm X book coming out. And Malcolm X's daughter has books on Malcolm X.
Yep, I got them.
Growing Up X. Then one is called X, and there are 3 or 4 of them.
The Awakening is one of them.
So go out there, parents, and find things for your children to tap into, things that look like them and speak their language, right?
I don't know what y'all are doing this morning. I just got a call now from Jesse Jackson Jr. I mean, y'all are just bringing the funk today, boy. This morning here from Reverend Sharpton to Jesse Jackson Jr. And this is why we need to know our folks. And honestly, when I speak to Jesse Jackson Jr., because I know what my conversation with him is this morning, is that sometimes we need to hear from our leadership. I do know that his father is, suffering from Parkinson.
Right.
So, and that's there. But for us that know some of these folks, sometimes we got to slow it down and talk to those folks that are doing the work out here, because there's a lot of good people that don't get the recognition, that are authors, that are good people or examples in their community that can make a difference in their community. I've also learned to communicate with I hate to use this word, Sister Alethea, the thug in the community. But sometimes when I go to that person, once I get him or her to, then they can reach the other ones that are in the street that may not listen to me in the beginning. So I need to get to them. Yes, sir.
You are well-read, brother. Look at a TV series like The Godfather of Harlem. I love how they show Bumpy Johnson and Malcolm X together.
That's right.
And Adam Clayton Powell.
Exactly.
I always say this: the underworld has always funded the overworld.
That's correct.
So hold on.
The civil rights movement, they was getting some bread from the streets. The Black Panther Party, they had the thugs giving them some bread. Man, the pre-program for the children, where the food came from.
Hey.
Where the food came from?
But brother Sean.
I came from the guys on the block. Man, take that, Hewitt.
Hey, this all go back before we were even in this time, when people were walking around on sandals. Somebody said, I believe his name was Paul, I need to be kind of like who I need to be around, whoever I need to be, so that I attract them, that I am attracted by the scent and the flavor of their life, that they then begin to hear what's on my life. See, sometimes you got to kind of chameleon yourself because we use the word code switching in here, but sometimes you can't go in being who you are, because that'll turn folks off. Folk could be like, man, what you mean? You don't know about this life.
But
sometimes you got to be truthful, but at the same time, you don't have to show all your cards until you get people's trust. See, our problem is, and we said this yesterday, and we had a little discussion, and yesterday was great. Y'all need to once again go back and watch Brother Aton and get that information. But listen, sometimes you can't show all your cards in the beginning, and we have to vet people carefully. And a lot of us don't do that. Me personally, listen, I got people right now who have been texting me about stuff that I'm like, if I had vetted you carefully,
that's right.
You wouldn't be texting me like
but
this,
no,
because I wouldn't have never let you in the door from Jump Street. But I have to look at my own flaws and say, I was too busy not looking at the whole picture and not consulting with the Most High. Many a times what I did was consulting and did not hear back from him, and went ahead and said, well, since he didn't say nothing, let me go ahead and move like this, because he ain't got no problem.
But Joe,
go ahead, brother.
I wanted to say it yesterday, but I didn't say it yesterday. I'm gonna say it right now from yesterday, right? I call it having a car fax. Like for a vehicle, we need a people fax.
Yeah.
And most times I say it for a dating reason, but even in your other business relationships, your friendships, you gotta vet people and get that car fax back.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? And so that's right. And you know what? And that's why, once again, I always go to scripture, and Ecclesiasticus, it talks about, if you were to get a friend, prove him first. Right? So prove him or her first. We are so quick to jump in and be like, oh, that's my girl, oh, that's my boy, without really getting to know who they are. So if we take more time to prove somebody, whether it be, like you said, Sean, whether it be in a relationship, a friendship, it could be family, it could be a coworker,
all the ships,
all the ships. We got to prove them first, right? Just like they need to prove us. They need to figure out, are we worthy to be in their life? You know what I'm saying? So it's mutual. It goes both ways. And then you got to ask yourself, what am I going to do about it if I realize they are not suitable for my life, or I'm not suitable for their life? Because you might be in a circle that like, yo, I really don't need to be around these dudes or these chicks or whatever. So are you willing to stand up and stand out and say, you know what, let me exit stage left, or am I going to stay there because I feel bad and I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, and now you're drained and depleted of all your resources?
You cannot save other people at the cost of your own death.
That's right.
You cannot save other people. That's why when they say on the airplane, in case of depressurization, there will be masks that fall down from the top. Make sure you put your mask on first before you put anybody else's mask on.
That's right.
We too busy doing that. Sister Alethea, go ahead, my sister.
I'm gonna switch gears just a little bit, because I just got called out on a text message. So
go ahead and tell us something.
I like how
talk to me.
You said that we do need to stand out, and we do need to stand up for who we are. And before I came on here, Brother Joe and I, we talked about a certain thing, and we have talked about a lot of rights for a lot of people. We do not have to get into this today, but I would be remiss if I would not speak about rights that directly affected
Speak on it, sis.
So because I am also part of those, but I'm a different part of those. It is I am a member of the Department of Gay Excellence. So there are rights that are going to be could be stripped from me and stripped from us. And I just got called out on it. Okay, y'all, I love the show. I love what you're talking about, and you're speaking on the rights for everything else. But can you speak on
it, sis? The floor yours.
So, like I said, we don't have to get into it today, because that is a deep conversation. But a lot of times we skip over those rights because people don't want to talk about us. People People don't want to see us. People don't want to, they would like to pretend that we do not exist, that our rights do not matter, which in fact they
Well,
do.
stop, Alethea. They only do it when it's not convenient for them. But however, when they need a great piano player in the church, they overlook that. When they need a great psalmist, in the church, they look over that. When they need somebody who
Joe,
can preach up a
stop
storm,
it, Joe.
I'm just saying,
Stop
hold
it,
on,
Joe.
hold on. When they need somebody who's a social influencer that dress nice, talk nice, get a lot of money, they overlook that. See, they don't want to see. I done told folks I'm at a new place. I know now that folks are good with folks who are liars, stealers, and thieves, long as what they do benefit them. See, you can be a liar, a stealer, a crook, a hoe. You can be all that long as you on my team. The moment you ain't on my team, I'm gonna act like I don't know you.
So Alethea, let me. You brought this up, so
yes.
You know I told you I don't bite my tongue. So
I know you
one
don't.
one thing in the Black community. One thing about in the Black community, I'm not worried about other communities, but one thing about the Black community is that what Joe just said is that a lot of folks that don't associate with something or look that is not quote unquote normal, that they don't agree with it and they don't deal with it. Then you got people in the Black church and religious folks that look at it from a religious point of view about homosexuality. And this has been a stigma, not in, again, I'm not talking about other communities, but within the Black family. Just like mental health has been a stigma in the Black family. We used to hide Uncle so-and-so and Aunt so-and-so up in the room or in the basement. When somebody, when somebody was gay, they dealt with that like this. And that comes down to the people's beliefs. But that don't make it right on a sense of how people are treated because they are, quote unquote, I hate to use the word different, but don't move as the masses move. And we have to understand that people are people, and however they choose their lifestyle, if you keep saying that you respect, even though you may not agree with this lifestyle, because from a religious point of view, Sister Jax, you know where you would stand on this, and you're not going to compromise that. But that don't take your way of associating and treating Sister Alethea the way she does. But those are the things that we do in stereotype. And I had to even learn a certain tolerance because as growing up and dealing with gay people, we made fun. We did this. We ridiculed them. But when I got older and started to find out, like I said, I had a gay guy that I wouldn't even deal with at Macy's. And anybody that worked at 34th Street Macy's know there's a lot of gay folks that work in the fashion business. They're everywhere. You understand? And when I learned, and when this brother helped me in a situation, I had an honest conversation with him and told him, I didn't deal with you, bro. I spoke and I kept my business. I kept away from you. So I didn't know how to deal with you because I was uncomfortable. But after having these kind of conversations and becoming more aware, it don't change how I move, but it changed my outlook on how you may feel and that you're a human being. I am not here to judge nobody. You understand? When I use the word judge, not judge in the sense of putting you in heaven or hell, that kind of judge. I'm not talking about when we judge people to make a decision if we're going to embrace them or not embrace them. But we have to really look at the stigma within our family as the Black family. And how do we get past, if this is not my lifestyle, how do we still get past of the respect and understanding of those that don't move in the lights of the way I do?
So
hold on.
Let her respond to that, Joe.
Hold on for 1 second, because once again, it's 7 minutes to the top of the hour. Before Sister Alethea comments on that, I just want to put this in Sister Alethea's ear. It ceases to amaze me when people confront your community, Sister Alethea. They never confront it from the place of, well, what do we say about the men who sleep with young girls? Or the women who sleep with young boys?
Yeah, that's what I want her to respond.
So go ahead and handle that. It just go ahead, sister.
We need to, so whose standards of normalcy. Like who I totally understand what you are saying, but it's like this word normal gets thrown around, especially in the Black community. What is normal? So, and this is just me speaking, but a lot of times it's more normal for Uncle Joe, the molester, to come to the family reunion, but yet you wouldn't. But it's not normal to let sis come who has a wife.
You muted. You muted yourself. You muted yourself.
There you go.
But it's normal for the uncle who you know is not normal for sis to come with her wife. Like how? So on whose definition of
it's
normal?
a double stand. It's a double standard. That's what it is. Let's call it what it is.
And I am not knocking, but a lot of people refer to our community as a lifestyle. And I do that for a reason. A lifestyle is I have to drive a certain type of car. A lifestyle is I have to make a certain amount of money in order to live. That is what a lot. I just eat this food. I just do it. That is what a lifestyle is. This is not my lifestyle. This is my life. This is my life. I did not choose this, and this you choose a lifestyle. A lifestyle is something that you choose, and this is what people get mixed up. Do you think I would choose a lifestyle where I would be ridiculed every single day? That is like me saying I chose to be Black. This is not a lifestyle. This is my life.
So with 4 minutes to the top of the hour, that was a good way to end, Sister Alethea. We gotta go around. I gotta hear from the rest of the panel. I gotta hear from the rest of the panel, brother 15. I'm sorry. Go ahead, go. Oh, thank you. Hold on. Sister Alethea, I really appreciate that. And you're right. We have to start getting into some uncomfortable conversation. 5 days is not enough to get as far as we need to get to, but me, you, and I'm gonna be talking to you today too. Family, this is why I asked the question, and I believe I was motivated by a spiritual unction to come back on here, and also by injury. Let's not just call it a spiritual unction. I was motivated by injury to get on my knees and say, okay, God, do I wait to June till I'm recovered, or what do we do? So he said, come back for 5 days. He said something to me last night, and I'm going to speak to everybody on the panel about that later. However, Sister Alethea is right. We've got to start addressing everything, not just some things. And guess what? It's going to be uncomfortable when we talk about Black folks who molest children, because they do that. It's going to be uncomfortable when we talk about your aunts, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your mom and dads who are strung out on drugs, because that's what they are. It's going to be very uncomfortable when we talk about people who were like my mama, who were very hoish and out there in the street, that to the point that she discarded me as a child because she was sleeping with 7 different men and didn't know who the baby belonged to. One of the men happened to be my grandmother's boyfriend. So we're going to talk about some real stuff here that might be uncomfortable for some folk. But guess what? You ain't got to tune in. But we're going to talk about it.
Like I said, they come here.
Amen, Joe.
I got to make a damn disclaimer to them. We do what we want to do. And not to take away from that, but I don't like to take away from the conversation when we in the heat of it, because we only have a few minutes left. So
right.
Joe said that. So Brother Sean and Sister Jax, I want to hear what you have to say, because Alethea brought this up. We discussed everything as a panel, so I want to hear from you. Let's go to either one, Sean P. or Sister Jax.
Ladies first.
Well, it's totally up to Joe. Like, I'm not sure what the time is looking, so.
Sister Jax, why don't we do this? Respond to Sister Alethea. I think we need to jump in this tomorrow while we have a full show, because like she said, we really don't have a lot of time, and I don't want to discredit her that we keep this fresh and we start off tomorrow about, okay, let's start talking about some of these uncomfortable things. I really, because let's do some closing comments. You can
wait. We're just going to agree to disagree. When you do that, you take the energy away. She brought up something on the platform. Let's just deal with that first, because when you kind of come back to it, it may come back. But we just waste time. I just think that we all commented on this. I think that come on, Joe, don't do this today. Let everybody comment on this, and then we can close out.
Listen, we got 2 hours. It came in at the end.
But she put something on the table that somebody texted her, bro. Let everybody. We only got Mr. Jax and the brother to respond.
Okay.
Because we're in it right now. We're in the moment. You gave a disclaimer. Okay. Let them respond. That's all I'm asking.
Brother Fatim, then let's do this then. Brother Sean P, Sister Jax, I give you both 5 minutes. That put us 10 minutes after. Go ahead and respond if you can. I don't know if it's going to take you a whole 5 minutes, but please respond if you can. Are you all right, Brother Fatim?
That's fair.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
He put something on the table.
All right. Let's go then.
It's all right, Fatim. You don't gotta stomp around, Fatim. We get it.
I'm sorry.
But yeah.
Yeah, so, you really don't.
But thank you, though.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I told you. I know I don't bite my damn tongue.
Alethea, we definitely want to respect you, and we respect exactly everything you said, and we appreciate that. You know, with Joe, I just deferred back to him because it's still time. I don't know what Joe has to do next. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes shows just get cut short. We got to pick up the next day. So I just still, as Joe, as the head of this podcast, I just want to respect what he, wanted to do. And Fatim, I respect what you're saying to Sister Alethea. You know what I'm saying? Wanted to give her that honor and respect at the same token. So Fatim summed it up. Fatim knows how my personal philosophical or biblical, views on certain things are. So, I don't do my best not to cherry pick and just I roll with what I believe, and I believe with whatever, right? But I still will love everyone, right? So it just, what you just said takes me back to when I was in my 20s. My godbrother was gay. He and I were very close, right? And I remember he ended up, getting HIV, which turned into AIDS. And I remember daily, I would go to the house. I was in college at the time, and I would go to the house afterwards, and it got to the point that he could no longer eat. And all we could give him was ice chips. So I remember in my 20s, like maybe 19, 20, going there, crunching up ice chips and feeding it to him on a spoon because he can barely swallow it. And as he swallowed it, I could hear it going through his digestive system and the excruciating pain that he felt enduring that, right? So it just breaks my heart. And I know the, LGBTQ plus community, they go through a lot. And we still have to love, and we still have to respect. And granted, if you feel that you don't want somebody in your home that, is part of that lifestyle, it's your home. Do what the hell you want to do, right? But at least for you, Alethea, and for your, wife, or your family and friends, I ain't going to my cousin so-and-so house because she don't get down like that, right? And just like Alethea, for your household and brother so-and-so that be touching all the little kids in the family, you have a right to say his ass ain't coming to my cookout, So everybody has their own right to say and feel how they want, have whoever in their home and not. But we should still always have an element of love and still understand. If you rocking with the Most High, still know, guess what? If you a thief, if you an adulterer, if you a whoremonger, it's all in the same category. That covetousness, lasciviousness, fornication, it's all up in one group. So we can't just kind of cherry pick and choose if it's all in the same thing. But I love you, sis.
Well said.
I love you, sis. And do what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Well said.
Brother Sean P.
Yes, sir.
Sean P. Go ahead.
Bring it on home, right?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I'm giving you 5 minutes because then I'm gonna say my comments. Everybody else done comment. I'm gonna comment too.
We good. So what I was saying earlier about the different kind of ships, right? The difficult conversations is what make those ships thrive. Relationship, business, friendship. So we need tomorrow or whenever Joe say to have the community conversations about all of these topics, not just LGBT, but like we said, pedophilia. I've been saying this for years. We got to police our own backyards. Even when it comes to young men, you have older women taking advantage of young guys. That's not mentioned even enough. You have young men being objectified. That's not mentioned nearly enough, for an example, right? But when it comes to the LGBT community in particular, I pride myself on being a conversationalist, meaning I love finding people from different lives outside of my own to understand where you're coming from. I love talking to a Trump supporter. We sit down and we just talking respectfully. No distance, no name calling. Help me understand your side of where you coming from. And then I get my little take. And then now when I walk away, I have something more than what I had to have empathy, sympathy, understanding. So for the
And
past
this
few years,
is all we want. That. Just that.
yeah.
You know, and Brother Sean, are you finished? Because I don't want to cut you off, brother.
I got one little small 20-second.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say for the past few years, I pride myself on. I've been talking to my friends in the LGBT community, like really, like explain to a child, explain these certain things to me. Explain to me this. Explain to me that. Well, showing this and that. Okay, like I said, there's no judgment. There's no nothing. I'm just trying to get understanding to be able to relate further. Now, I'll leave it at that, Joe.
Okay. Jessica, yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
So
right,
yeah, and Jessica put something out there. So I'm just gonna post the comment, let y'all read it. But as we get ready to close this out, because I do have something else I needed to do, but I'm going to. I've already made a phone call and said, look, I'm going to be running just a tad bit late because I am concerned about everybody, including Brother Fatim. I understand, though I really had something important to do. But let me say this. One of my opinion, this is my opinion. I don't know if it's factual or not. It's just my opinion. People are quick to say how they feel about people, but don't know folk. You know, they're quick to say, well, I don't like so-and-so. You know, I heard he were, you know, a good friend of mine and Fatim, Roland Martin. Y'all all know Roland. He was talking to a guy, said, how you going to jump out here and say you don't like this guy who wore a black suit and a red tie and you never saw him in a black suit and a red tie? You know, that's our problem. We go by other folks' opinions about other folks. Just because you don't like somebody don't mean I'm supposed to not like somebody. And furthermore, somewhere in the Bible it said, and he said this for a reason, he that is free of sin cast the first stone. So let me understand this. You want to stone this prostitute, but you've been buying services from her. Hold on. So hold on. You want to criticize the LGBTQ plus A plus community. However, you sleeping with 5 or 6 different people outside your wife, and better yet, you sleeping with 5 or 6 people, and none of them are your wife or your husband. So hold on. Wait a minute. You want to criticize the LGBTQA plus community, but you out here smoking dope, stealing, robbing, lying, pretending to be somebody that you ain't. You want to do that, but you out here scheming, planning on your next person you're going to victimize. You out here waving a banner that you're a community advocate when all you really are is a person who undercoverly just trying to figure out ways to get your pockets fat. Come on,
but
family.
Yet I'm out here not hurting nobody.
Right. Hold on. I have a sister. My sister Jacqueline. I'm going to call her out by name. I have a sister on my dad's side, Sister Jacqueline. My sister Jacqueline. It's 17 of us. Jacqueline looks at me all the time and says, you know, y'all always sit here talking about the LGBTQA plus community. But she said, out of all my siblings, I'm the only one that's been married to my wife for 25 years and have never had a divorce. She said, never. She said, and she looks at me all the time. She said, since you're supposed to be the smart one of us all, she said, how many divorces have you had? How many bad relationships have you? She said, I've been with this woman. She said, even in the conception of my child, this woman was a part of understanding how I was going to conceive a child. So she said, hold on. She said, don't criticize me about love, because it seems to be you've been trying to look for love in all the wrong places. So I'm just saying, before you judge somebody, and I said this yesterday, we too busy pointing fingers at other folk. Look your good self in the mirror and ask yourself, what's wrong with you? Correct yourself. I might not agree with Alethea, but I can't fix Alethea. And guess what? I'm still going to love Alethea, even if there's some things that I don't agree about Alethea, because I'm pretty sure she got about 5 or 6 things she can't stand about my black ass.
That's right.
To be exact, I'm like that with everybody.
But
that don't mean she ain't going to love me. I love her and she going to love me.
The reason that you don't have to fix me is because I'm not broken.
Right. That part. So at the end of the day, I'm going to accept.
This don't make me broken.
I'm going to accept her for who she is, what she stands for. And that's still my sister who I love, who I don't have a problem having her on this show. I don't have a problem sitting out in public, eating with her, rocking with her, rolling with me, and my wife will roll with her and her wife. and dare you to say something.
15 years.
Okay.
Just
Wow.
So it is what it is.
Wow.
Family, y'all out here criticizing folks. Criticize your damn self. Straight before you start talking and trying to straighten other folks out, straighten your own self out. With that being said, let's get to some closing comments. And let me start off with Sister Jax. Sister Jax,
Yes.
give me some closing comments.
Yes. So great show, great words. Also, sister, I forgot whose comment you just had up there. I don't know if it was Jewel or somebody.
Jessica
Newberry.
Yeah, Jessica. So Jessica, I know that comment had popped up after I made, my statement. So that's not my words. I'm just pulling that directly from scripture. So that's not Jax's opinion. That's, directly from scripture, all throughout. So you can Google that, take a look at it yourself, to read, study the show thyself approved. So what's up, y'all? Great show, great show. Can't wait to come back tomorrow. It's been an amazing week, amazing show. Like I shared at the beginning, if you guys get a chance, find a local bookstore, whether it be a Black bookstore, white bookstore, Asian bookstore. Look in the archives for some really old books, some of these older texts from the 1800s and even before that, where a lot of the truth and a lot of our history was written. And make sure you purchase it, spend a couple of dollars. We'll waste money on Starbucks. We'll waste money, on, all type of, nonsense. But, feed your mind, feed your soul, feed your spirit. So if nobody told you today they love you, y'all, you know who loves you. Your girl Jax loves you. Be safe, be blessed. Until next time, see you soon. Peace.
Sean P. Give it up, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My main thing is always, man, educating yourself. And I mean that way beyond the classroom, way beyond books even, believe it or not. Go out there and find somebody you don't know and just sit and have a conversation. Go get somebody a cup of coffee, man. Just share some coffee with somebody. It just picks people's brain. You will learn so much more about yourself as you dig and dive into other people from different assortment of backgrounds, man. So keep on educating yourself on a daily basis. Peace.
Sister Alethea with the cutie patootie. Come on, Sister Alethea, give it up.
It's my grandbaby. all I have to say is stand firm and stand true in who you are. Stand on business and don't let the business stand on you. Don't let the business stand on you. Stand on who you are. Do not waver. Do not compromise who you are for anybody else, because you are enough exactly as you are. You do not need to be fixed because you were never broken.
Amen, brother.
Wait, Alethea, what's my nephew's name?
Ayan, which means God's gift.
Oh,
Wow.
Hey, nephew.
That's what I'm talking about.
I love it. I love
Brother
it.
Fatine.
All right, so let me just say this one thing real quick. I just love the way we work together, and sometimes we hit this little bump. And I did fail to forget one thing of the rule. There's two rules here in this game: is you respect everybody's time. And I didn't realize Joe did have something to do, but you'll also realize I'm also a talk show host. So once I realize that our time is short, then I just make sure that when something is tabled, I make sure that everyone has that go around. So I have to respect Joe and Joe's time, just like Sister Jax said there. And I say that because I don't say things behind the scenes. I come out and say them. And that's where my mentality is. Real quick, Joe put up a comment. Jessica said, but let's not compare homosexuality to thieves, whoremongers, etc. It shouldn't be a negative connotation. It should be just a different lifestyle. In a lot of cases, it's just as loving and positive as heterosexual relationships. KC came back and said to Jessica, thank you. I was even trying to get the correlation between someone dying of AIDS and what Alethea stated. We will continue this kind of conversation tomorrow. And also, just one thing. Tomorrow is not promised. It's not promised to none of us. We all hope and plan to be back. And something them two may taught me. One thing that we can't get back is time. And sometimes when you're in the moment, you got to take the moment. Because them two may talked about when he was playing with the great Miles Davis. He said that they played together for years. But there was one session that they played together that they all felt like they played and hit those notes like they were lifting off the stage. Sometimes you got to take advantage of the moment because you can't get back that moment when you try to get it back tomorrow. And I've seen that over and over in this game. I'll leave it like that.
Hey, man, I appreciate. Listen, on the behalf of Brother Fatim, Sister Jack, Sister Alethea, yours truly, Joe Dupree. And you know how I always end it. Hey, be better today than you were yesterday. And do something today that no matter what you do or whom you do it for, there's no earthly way they could ever pay you back. And always remember that there is no secret what God can do, what he has done for others, he will and he can do for you. It is Turn Up Thursday, Turn Down for What. Tomorrow is Freedom and Fun Friday. And yes, we're gonna get into some very uncomfortable conversation tomorrow, because he that the Son sets free is free indeed. And some of y'all need to be free of your stanky thinking. Some of y'all need to be free of being the victim and understand you too had a lot to do with the situations and circumstances that happen to make things domino effect in your life. You've got to be the captain of your own ship and your own spear, and understand you allow folks to come on your ship and you can let folks get off. There's nothing wrong with that. Y'all be blessed. Have a great day. Hopefully, Lord's willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Y'all be blessed. We up out of here. Have a good one. Peace.
This is not the time for giving up, no. Not your place of destiny, no, it isn't, no. Not the time nor the place to throw in the towel. You gotta hold on, gotta be strong. This is not the time to question your faith. It's not your place of destiny, no, it isn't, no. No, it isn't, no. Not the time nor the place to throw in the towel. You gotta hold on, you gotta be strong. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but it's a part of life that everyone goes through. Sometimes there's joy, sometimes there's pain, but it's a part of God's plan, yeah. So don't you be dismayed. This is not the time. Oh, you gotta learn how to wait on him, wait on him. This is no. Hey. Said you gotta learn how to wait. Gotta wait on Jesus. He'll be there. Yes, he will. Keep on. Wait on Jesus. Wait on him. Wait on Jesus. Y'all ain't ready for this.